Alright, I'm not sure if you could hear me just now. Good evening, everyone. I'm just trying to fix quickly the stream title across my platforms where I can, because obviously, as you can tell, it's not the correct title. It should be fixed on Twitch, but it's not fixed anywhere else. Anyway, we're not going to spend much more time on that. I am back to streaming, as you can tell. I've been away for a while because life has been a little busy, but in a good way. So I'll be back on Saturdays and very rarely on other days, but mostly going to be focusing on Saturdays and trying to return to my roots in a lot of ways. So more details will be made available in due season. For the time being, you can look out for some Saturday chill sessions, because I'm going to be doing a number of those wherever I can, just to relax and spend some time with you. If you want to show your appreciation, you can always check out my website, rolanditzer.pro/streaming, and you can not only make purchases from my stores, but you can also donate via my PayPal as well. So if you want to do that, you can go check it out and yeah, give me some support. So other than that, just one quick thing I wanted to show you for those of you who don't know. I have recently done something pretty fun, a CSS game. I'm going to show you in a second. Just let me switch this here. Alright, so here is the dev article that I wrote. One sec, let me just fix this position here, because this is positioned incorrectly on the screen, as you can probably tell. Alright, there we go. Yeah, so now you got the full thing. Yeah, so I wrote this new dev article, CSS fun stuff, Combo Breaker. It was actually planned for a while, but I had to take a little break. And you can go check this out. It's pretty simple and straightforward and pretty fun to play with, and I've also produced a full game that you can check out as well. I'm just going to scroll right down to the video. This is the version of it in the article on video here, but there's actually a full game now that you can play from my website. And if you want, you can also download this full project from my Gumroad page, but eventually I'll make the updated version available from Gumroad as well for a very, very small price. Don't worry, it won't be expensive, but you can download this version of it for free currently. Alright, so let me show you the full game before we hop on to what I'm going to be working on today. So as you can see, some nice simple animation here, and of course when you're ready to play, just click on that button. And by the way, everything here runs on CSS. The only thing that doesn't use CSS is loading of levels. And I'm not going to give away it. I would like to actually show you the other levels, but I'm not going to give away the answer to the combo. So I'm just going to show you some of the messages that pop up if you enter the wrong thing. Yeah, so you can go and get teased by this. I've been showing it to some people, and some people figure it out pretty quickly, others get stumped, some figure it out and forget, which always makes me laugh. But yeah, you can go check this out. It's really fun to play, and it's been fun to work on. For those of you who are coders like me, especially those who are trying to learn CSS or who just like CSS in general, you can check it out for learning some techniques that you can use for yourself. It's not only useful for games, but useful just in general. They really put some work into this one. It's not as complicated as it can be as yet. So the future levels are going to get a lot more complicated, because instead of just one preset, these things are going to actually jump around on screen. Some are going to appear and disappear, so you'll really have to figure out the combo. But I haven't had the time to implement it yet. Not that I don't have the concept, just haven't had the time. So you can make sure you keep an eye on this. That is on my dev page, dev.to/RolandDitzer. You can find the article and the links there. You can also go to my website, and it is there as well. Game/CSS/combo breaker, I believe. that would be the link for it. But everything is already in the dev article, so you can find all the links there. Grab it from Gumroad, and definitely look out for the updated version soon. Alright, so let us hop over to Inkscape. And today I'm going to be doing I'm not really exactly sure what I want to do with this scene exactly, but I'm thinking of a scene that's more or less like a movie poster, and I'm one of these people who likes complex and complicated scenes. So what I'll probably do with this one, in the past when I first started, I used to try to do everything in one stream, but I'm going to try to break things down. So each stream you can look for me to work on either a full project if I can fit it in the time, or we will split it up and come back, but I'm going to try to do some really relaxed stuff going forward. Alright, so I'm thinking of doing a movie poster, like a fictional movie poster for a story I'm working on actually. And so I'm going to build the basics of the poster first, and then I'm going to draw in the rest of the scene. Alright, so I'm starting with a circle. And I'm going to align this to the center of the page. Well, it doesn't need to be this big. I just went with a number off the top of my head, but not that big, so let me make it smaller. Now, one of the concepts I really like to work with as well is the idea of light versus dark. A lot of my stories tend to deal with that in a subtle way. So even though there is usually a pretty preset or predefined set of characters like protagonists and antagonists in my stories, as with most stories, you'll find that there is a degree of overlap as well, kind of like a gray area. So I'm going to try to portray that in what I'm working on today by putting characters in this who are kind of in between, as well as some who are clearly on one side or another. By the way, this song is going to stop looping after it plays through. This time around, I just was running through it a few times as we start while I was troubleshooting some stuff. So if you're getting a little bored with the music, not to worry, I'm going to switch it shortly. Alright, so we have the basics in place. I'm going to probably drop a word or logo in here, but I'm going to be drawing some stuff to this side and some stuff to this side as well. Starting over here, of course. I'm going to lock this layer and work on the layer below it so that nothing overlaps this layer that I have just put stuff in. Now, I find oftentimes when I'm doing characters or anything, I like to start with the hair first. For some reason, that helps me to define where I'm going with anything. At least when it comes to people. When it comes to animals, I usually start with the eye or the nose, which is interesting. I don't know why that is, but since I was a child, that's where I've always started from. With people, on the other hand, I usually like to start with their hair. Now, even though I'm drawing some characters from a story I'm working on, which some of you may be familiar with and some may not be, I'm not going to actually give away who they are because I don't really want to spoil anything. So this has more relevance to me than most of you who will watch this, but I'm going to at least explain to some extent where they stand at some point, but I'm not giving you spoilers. By the way, for those who don't know, the music is taken from Creators Lib on YouTube. They do free music for content creators. That's free music and sound effects, I should say, for content creators like myself, so you can go check them out. Most of their music is Afro beats, and I really love Afro beats. Love to represent the culture, so definitely go check them out because it's unique. Most of the free music that you get out there is, you know, like the typical pop or contemporary. Well, I'm trying to find the other words for it, but yeah, you don't find a lot of free Afro beats out there that are genuinely copyright free. So definitely go give that channel a look. By the way, for anyone who's wondering, my other projects, I'm also planning to continue those. The ones I would have started before I took an announced hiatus from streaming. That would include the barbershop project, which you're probably seeing the title of on YouTube, but for some reason I couldn't change the title today, so I'll have to fix that later. But yeah, I will be getting back to that project in the future. I can't say when, because I can't really predict how my time will go right now, but I will get back to that project in the future. Probably not live, but I'm definitely going to complete the outstanding projects, God willing, in the future. So you can keep an eye out for those as well. But if you want to support my work, again, just a reminder, you can go to my streaming page and you'll find all of my relevant links there to my stores, and also my PayPal if you want to donate. Your support means a lot to me and it will keep me encouraged. I'm probably going to come back to this face at some point, because drawing human faces is one of the areas where I've had some challenges. Until recently, I've only recently begun to really put a lot of effort into practicing it. But also, drawing faces at different angles still presents some challenges. And I like to do my learning in the open as much as possible, because I believe many of us need to see that we're not alone in terms of, you know, not always getting it all together there immediately from the beginning. You may be talented, but it doesn't mean that you're necessarily, or you may be gifted, but it doesn't mean that you're necessarily skilled at every single thing. So some things take some practice and some time. And I don't mind sharing with you that this is one of those things that is taking me some practice and some time to get right. Oh, by the way, if you are not aware, I'm using Inkscape 1.2. This should be, I think, at the beta version by now. Let me just check that quickly, because I'm actually using a development build, but it's technically the beta version. Okay, it still says Alpha 1 in the About window, but it is technically the beta version because it's keeping in line with the latest builds. Just doesn't say beta in this one for whatever reason. Probably the package I'm using hasn't been updated just yet. But there was a stream this week. I can't remember which day it was. I think it was Tuesday. But if you follow Martin Owens on YouTube, you can check it out. It was really, really informative. And yeah, Inkscape 1.2 is leaps and bounds ahead for this free open source application. And I have to say, it's really great that we do have free applications like this for artists like myself who really and truly cannot keep up with the subscription-based services out there. And it actually is a little more difficult for you these days if you're into certain industries, because a lot of applications are switching to subscription-based models, and that's not very sustainable for most people. So really cool to have an application that is just straightforward and free. But it is still cool if you, not only cool, it's really helpful if you can donate, that you do donate to the developers who put all of their hard work and effort into it. And if you can't donate, it's always good to, help with promotion and support, help others who need to learn, which is what I like to do. And I don't do that for money, by the way. I just love it. I like helping people. So yeah, but it's always good if you can support others and help them to learn as well, because trust me, it will come back to you. Alright, this error, I don't really like where this error is, so I'm going to erase that eventually. Alright, I'm not quite satisfied with the shape of her mouth either. Alright, let me select all and go to the eraser tool. This is one of my favorite tools in Inkscape these days. And it is now possible to make it non-destructive as well. So you can actually use this in masking mode, which I'm not doing right now, because I actually want to erase this stuff. Let me just go ahead and erase this entire section right here. It's going to take a while because these are a lot of paths, but I'm going to combine all of them to make things move a little faster when this is done. Also, I'm going to shave some of her hair from top here so I can bring it around in a different direction to help things look a little more natural. It just occurred to me, seeing as I'm doing a movie trailer, well, not movie trailer, movie poster, I should probably also use my movie voice at some point. And I will. Yeah, I will use my movie voice at some point in this stream. That was something I used to do a lot when I started, and then I kind of just waned off, but yeah, we will bring back the movie voice again, because some people have come asking where is Batman, and I didn't really bring him forward. I was letting him have a rest, but he's always present in the background somewhere. Alright, this is going to take a little bit of a while because I just did quite a big erasure there. I'm quite tempted while this is going to start talking a little bit about the story itself, but I really don't want to give spoilers. All I will tell you is be on the lookout, because I've been trying to put in some more time in writing, and I do have some stories on the verge of being ready. At least one of them is pretty close to being ready to go out there, so I'm hoping to get some previews out relatively soon. And the main story, volume 1, I'm still working on that. I've had some delays because, as you can imagine, life is life for all of us right now. It's hard to get anything done, but I'm also working on volume 1, and I hope to have that out very soon. The website itself is near to production quality, although there are some issues with responsiveness, and I would like to fix those before putting the website out there. If not, I may revamp it, but we'll see how that goes. Point is though, you can look out for some details on that story very soon. It's called Trapezium, by the way, for those who don't have a clue what I'm talking about, and it is a superhero story with a twist. That is not a spoiler, by the way. Just letting you know, just teasing your appetite a little bit. It is a superhero story, but it's not what you may expect from a superhero story. And it's also a black superhero story, which I think is pretty important, because representation is a big deal for me. And so if you are interested in that kind of thing, definitely make sure to keep an eye out for it. I'm going to put her hair somewhere around here. Although much less of it would be visible from this direction though, so we're not going to worry too much about detail. Alright, let me zoom out a bit. Oops, not sure where that thick stuff came from. Well, I also forgot to change the thickness of this pencil. That's why, well, not pencil, this is the calligraphic stroke tool. By the way, there have been changes to the pencil tool in Inkscape as well, but I don't use that as often because for some reason I much prefer calligraphic strokes to the pencil. But most other people who draw in Inkscape tend to use the pencil a lot more for whatever reason. I guess because it produces actual curves as opposed to objects. More people like to use that. But me personally, I'm a big fan of the calligraphic stroke tool because it feels like I'm actually drawing with an actual pencil or pen. And oh, by the way, I also have an unboxing video that I owe everyone for a couple months now, but I've been too busy to edit. But I will try to get that out soon. I don't know what soon will be, but it is on my to-do list. I know I have a little more of a handle on my time. I'm hoping to get that unboxing video up. It was a tablet that I won back in December, I believe. Yeah. I also need to try to figure out a way to use it with the computer. I haven't had much time to try figuring that out, and plus a little issue with Bluetooth is getting in the way, but hopefully I'll be able to have that sorted soon so I can actually draw with that tablet, because it is actually different from the graphics tablet I'm using right now, which is that you actually draw on paper, which is my original medium. So you'll actually get to see me drawing onto the screen, hopefully get to see me drawing onto the screen from paper, which should hopefully unlock some more of my skill. The character that I was originally trying to draw with this person, I'm actually thinking this will have to be a different character because it is resembling that particular character more. So what I'm going to do is actually transform this character into the other one. None of you that are watching this will have a clue who any of these people are, but I know in my head, so it makes a big difference to me, obviously. Alright, let's say Inkscape is gone to sleep because I just did a very... Okay, there it is. I did a very big union with all those different paths. So yeah. It kind of slowed things down for a little bit. Alright, let me erase this area where her ear is supposed to be and draw that again, because I didn't quite get that right. On a note of building your confidence, I had a friend recently tell me that he really likes my style for drawing people, which was a huge compliment because he is a beast when it comes to drawing people. He's actually the artist who will be working on, or not will be, but is working on designs for this very story, the official designs, because we have big plans that I will not go into fullness on, but yeah, he told me he likes my style and the simplicity of it, and me, I'm thinking my style is terrible. Because every artist has some area where we really look down on ourselves and we don't believe we're all that good, but someone will always appreciate what you have. So just on a point of confidence to anyone listening, believe in yourself and do what you do, because no one else can do what you do in the way that you do it. So definitely believe in yourself. And keep at it, whatever it is that you do, even if it seems to be different and you don't think anyone will appreciate it, definitely believe in yourself and keep at it, because you never know where it will take you. I'm going to change the shape of her face just slightly because the character I have in mind for her to be now is a little different. So I'm going to just erase this area. Plus it wasn't drawn very well, so I'm going to just do this over again. In time, as I get better at drawing people, I would actually like to do less of a sketchy style and start doing something a little more realistic. But as I told you, I'm doing my learning in public, and drawing humans is one of the things I was not very good at for most of my life, so I'm really trying to put in the work in practicing drawing humans in general so I can eventually get to that place where it actually looks good. Alright, I'm not sure why this just merged a whole bunch of stuff up in there, so I'm going to try erasing this stuff again. Hopefully it will not cause that problem a second time. I mean, it didn't look terrible, but I don't want those big blotches all over her face. Okay, it just won't stop doing that. So, let me see actually how this looks from far, because it may not be that bad. You know what, it isn't that bad at all. So, even though that was a bug, clearly, I'm going to leave it. It doesn't look terrible. Come to think of it, she actually looks quite different from the character I was thinking. So I'm going to just let her be someone else. None of you have a clue what I'm talking about, and I'm laughing at myself about that. But yeah, she does not look like either of the characters I had in mind at first. But that's actually pretty cool. You never know, I may actually end up coming up with another character based on this drawing. I've done that before, by the way. Sometimes I just start practicing, and then as I'm practicing, I come up with ideas and I integrate them into my stories. Not to worry though, I'm not packing the actual story that you will eventually one day have the ability to read with too many characters at once. What I have done is build a kind of universe out of it. So there will be multiple stories with multiple arcs, and those different characters I come up with over time get slotted into stories as I go. I'm not doing a multiverse story though, at least not yet. I do have ideas in mind, but we'll see. But I'm not currently building a multiverse. I'm not really, to be honest with you, I'm not really a huge fan of the multiverse concept in movies and like comics and stuff like that. And not that it's a bad thing to me in terms of, you know, the execution of it. I just think, to be quite honest with you, sometimes it can be a little bit lazy, because it's like you keep retconning characters and bringing them back to life and doing all sorts of stuff instead of just simply telling a story and taking the risk of that if a character dies, for instance, that's it. You know, like, there's no coming back. I much prefer, as a writer at least, or as reading as a writer, I much prefer when the story has such gravity to it that if, for instance, someone dies in that story, and I mean like is actually dead, not that they appear to be dead, or, you know, that, say, like, resurrection is a part of the theme or whatever, but, you know, like, you die in the story, there is some depth to that, and you're not just coming back just like that. Or take, for instance, if, you know, you're telling a story with diversity, which is another thing to why people go for this multiverse, just do it from the start instead of coming up with an alternate version of such and such, like how we have Black Superman, Asian Superman, etc., etc. Why couldn't we just have those characters exist from the beginning? So for me, I'm not a huge multiverse theory, or, well, not theory, multiverse fan in terms of comics and storytelling, but it can work sometimes, I guess. And for me, where it works is if you have stories that are not, like, they're completely disconnected from one another, or they maybe have some degree of shared elements, and I don't mean like shared characters, I mean they have shared elements, and then somewhere along the lines those stories merge or temporarily merge, like, you know, like some portal opens or something. But that can work for me. But I'm not necessarily a huge fan of stories where, you know, you're basically retelling the same story in 1,000,001 different universes. But that's just me. That said, funny enough, I did enjoy Marvel's What If series, which is a shock, I know, for what I just said. I'm not a huge fan of the whole multiverse thing. I did enjoy What If because it was cleverly done. Which is the other thing. You have to be good at it for me to enjoy it. I don't mind it if you are good at storytelling, but you really need writers who actually know how to handle that kind of thing, so that those stories actually have their own impact, instead of just being like, yeah, we wanted to have Superman with blue skin, so we retold the story in another universe. That's not really, you know, creative in my opinion. But anyway, enough about my critical take on things. Come to think of it, this character here, whoever she is, because I started drawing someone else and then realized she doesn't look like the someone else I was going for. But she's kind of reminding me of a character from the story who is an assassin, but this isn't quite her, so this will just be someone, whoever she is. Funny enough, the bug that caused her mouth to have like this black line on it, ended up working out in my favor because it looks pretty nice. It wasn't what I was going for originally, but it doesn't look bad at all. Now, another area where I get some challenges sometimes is drawing hands and arms, which is why in some of my human drawings you'll find that I just avoid them altogether because they're kind of hard to do. Elbows especially are one of the hardest things to draw, and I have no clue why that is. They're just very hard to do. Alright, let me undo some of this here. I'm trying to think of the angle I want her arm to be at. Or I may just leave it incomplete. Who knows? Another thing I need to do is practice drawing people of different body types, because I tend to draw one kind of generic body type. I'm not aiming for any particular body type, I'm just drawing people, but I do need to get in some practice with different body types as well. I have been practicing with different ethnicities a lot, because there are little subtleties that I observe in different people groups, so I've been trying to practice like achieving different kinds of hair and different facial structures, etc. But I need to do some practice with other things too, like the way how our bodies are shaped and stuff like that across different groups. There are lots of different subtleties to pay attention to. I'm actually going to resize her here altogether. So let me just select everything and union. This will take a little while. I have to say, this didn't come out so bad. Alright, I'm gonna do another character now that I like quite a bit. Not giving away her name for multiple reasons, but she's one of my favorite characters and one of the main characters in the story. Again, I'm starting with hair, but I'm going to have a different style this time because she actually has locks and not just straight hair. You probably can't see it, but I'm actually doing circular motions for this hair at this point. And one of the tips I would give anyone when you're drawing is that you have to use techniques that stack, because even though it's not always immediately obvious, it actually is detectable to our brains in some sort of way. I'm not sure if I'm saying that as clearly as I want it, but yeah. Basically, like, take for instance, if you're doing curly hair, try drawing actual curls. Because even though you may not see, like, immediately when you look at it, your brain is detecting the difference there, and it adds to realism if you can get those curls in place. So let me try drawing her hair in a different direction. What I'm going to do here, let me just get a quick idea. This is rough, so I'm probably going to erase this. I need a quick idea of where her hair will fall. Alright, not like that. Alright, so what I'm going to do is actually start this again from another direction. For me, I'm not sure if this is true for anyone else, but for me, I find that the direction I draw in makes a big difference. So I'm going to try coming from a different angle here, and I'm going to start rough again so I have an idea of what I'm working with. I like to give her kind of like a half-covered face. Just her signature style, really. Right, so she would have hair coming like that, some coming down that way, and then some falling over here. You see something here. So I put her shoulder about here. I think actually what I want to do is have her with one of her signature moves, at least when she gains her abilities. So I have one arm across in front and the other one kind of like down to her side. And the arm across in front would have electricity. See if I can get this done a little better than that. The other thing with this character that is a little bit of a personal challenge is her fashion sense. Because she's quite the fashionista with an affinity for a kind of modern African style. I'm not sure if I would say from any particular nation that any of us could call right now, like any real nation, but within the story, I guess this could qualify as a spoiler, but within the story there are different nations that are not actually real. Like, they don't exist in real life, but they do have connections to real places. So like Africa, the continent of Africa being one of them, and her style takes after a kind of general African flair, kind of. So I try to give her, whenever I'm drawing her, I try to give her that kind of look, like a distinctly African but still unique, in that you can't like pinpoint and say, oh, that's Nigerian or that's Ghanaian or that's you know, Algerian, whatever. It's her own unique thing related to whatever fictional nation she's from, but still distinctly African. Right, what I'm going to do here, actually let me, oops, I didn't mean to resize the toolbar. I'm going to select all of these and move them to layer 1, lock layer 2, and then resize all this right here so I can fit more of her in. Alright, that looks quite awkward in terms of how her legs were shaped. Just know that would be humanly impossible. Or at least close to humanly impossible. Still trying to put in some work in terms of learning how to do limbs correctly as well. So that's understandable. Interesting. Alright, I need to go back through some settings here and try to figure out some stuff, because I don't remember how to turn on and off those boxes. I did it once and it was accidental, and I now don't remember how, so yeah. I'll have to go back through some Inkscape settings and see about that. But I actually don't want them right now, so they're slightly annoying. But I guess I could live with them. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with these here, but just trying to see what this will look like. I think it looks kind of cool, at least. It's her own unique thing, and she is a designer in the story, so hey, maybe this is her signature style. I haven't actually decided what her signature style is yet, but hey, this would be pretty cool to have. Alright, now for the fun of actually putting her hair in place correctly, because black hair is quite different, and I just did something rough to get this in place so I could kind of figure out where everything should go. So now what I'm going to do is erase most of it and replace it with actual curls. As you can imagine, this is a very time-consuming process, so I usually do this during my free time, like on weekends or at night when I have nothing to do and I'm like watching a movie or something, is when I'll usually spend time on practicing stuff like this with drawing black hair, because it takes time. And massive respect to people who actually put in the effort to try to get it right for stuff like comics and stuff like that. I mean, there are other techniques that probably are a lot more time saving where they don't try to actually get those individual pieces done, but typically it takes a lot of time and effort to get it right. And to show the distinction between different pieces of the hair and all that is also a lot of work. I kind of get away too because I'm doing black and white, but if I were doing this with actual colors and I had to shade and do all that stuff, you can imagine how much work that is. Thinking of my own hair, what I'm doing, instead of doing straight locks coming right down, I'm doing some that start halfway and come down part way, and some that kind of like come out of nowhere, because if you actually see locks in real life, there tend to be quite a lot of them, and sometimes they interlock and all kinds of crazy stuff. So when you're trying to draw for realism, you can kind of replicate that as well. Of course, I'm not going for hyper realism here. If not, I would have to do this a lot more slowly, most likely, and come up with different techniques and methods. This is just some generic realism, if you want to coin a term. Or, funny thought just crossed my mind, this is base model realism right here. Alright, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. I'm not done yet, but I just need to see how this is coming together. One of the things that can happen when you're doing stuff like this is it gets tedious, and you may be tempted to just say, well, hey, let me just fill in the blanks by putting some, random lines or whatever. But if you have a really good eye, a trained eye, you can typically tell when that happens, because you can see the imperfections in those areas, which is why for me, when I'm doing my own art, I like to take the time and actually pay attention to those details. Because filler is usually quite visible as just filler. There's no real sense of direction to it, and it's sometimes just like big empty areas of flat color, and you know, okay, yeah, this person got tired and just filled it in. Plus, it looks like if the hair is mad, if you just fill it in like that. And for a person like her, that would be an absolute no-no. Her hair would be meticulously taken care of, so I'm going to put in the effort to actually make it look that way. Oops. Now, there's another thing too that often crosses my mind, which is that some people may look and say, why go through all that trouble when at the end of the day they're all going to blend together? Well, I personally believe that the end result is the sum of the multiple parts that make it up. So to me, it's much more worth it to get a proper looking end result through the process than to just simply go for, hey, I have a result, I have some blotches of black and some specks of white. I actually want to produce something that looks like if you actually have actual locks together on her head, as opposed to just black and white blotches. In the past, what I've done with her hair though is make it a little thicker so there'll be less open areas like this. I decided to make the curves a little more obvious this time. But if I were going for more realism, she would have some thick, dark hair on her head. And now for the real challenge, which is getting her face to be at the angle I want it at. Let me see if I can actually get this pulled off. Okay, that's probably a little too high up, so I'm going to come down here and try again. And do some lines here to simulate her shoulder bones, just showing just a little bit toward this area, not too much of course. You just erase some of this here. Now for a nose of some sort. Noses still give me trouble. They're very hard to do. I commend anyone who's good at them. Let me zoom out again. Yeah, coming together nicely. I like this. It actually looks better than I expected, to be honest. Alright, now the tricky part to get some eyebrows in here without overdoing it. Oops. Okay, that's still somehow coming out a lot thicker than I expected. I wonder how this would look from far, like this. Okay, well, you can't really see her eye that much. Okay, yeah, I prefer her to have pupils. Her boyfriend can actually go without, not literally, but he can make his eyes look like he doesn't have pupils, but typically I'm not really going for that look too much in the story because I don't want them to look like they're some creeps from another world or something like that. They're people. They do have superpowers, but they are people. But her boyfriend can do that just because, well, that's just part of his abilities. Alright, so let's go back to a thicker point here and finish off this here over here. I think I like this as is though, it looks pretty nice. I'm very much a perfectionist and finishing touches kind of person, but I don't want to overkill because it looks pretty nice as is. And I like her fashion style, came out pretty nice. Alright, what I'm going to do quickly before I close off is just at least start to put her boyfriend standing behind her with his signature hood. Actually, let me take him over and put him on a new layer altogether. So let's lock this one. Add a new layer. I'm gonna call this trapezium. Oops, I didn't mean to press enter there. I technically can't see my keyboard right now, so that's what happened. Yeah, there it is. That's still a bit thick. The angle I'm drawing him at is not one I'm accustomed to. You know what just crossed my mind though? What if I do it in the opposite direction and flip it? That would work. Yeah. Still need practice doing it the other way, but I'm trying to draw him kind of looking behind him and to a side. One of his signature stances. Let me try this one more time, because this is tricky to get right. Need to thin it over here. I'm going to need a lot more work to get this look exactly as I want it. Probably need to look at some reference images and try drawing from those. Hard to find them though, because the look I want for him is not that common. Certainly not in the superhero arena. I've seen one show use it recently and I was like, no! But yeah, I don't think they're going to keep that character in that particular look though, thank God, so I don't have anything to worry about with anyone saying, you're copying! Because I'm not copying. Not nearly. He's meant to look completely different from any other superhero. Alright, so now he's going to have a mask that covers his mouth and nose and comes down into his shirt. Let's get a little further over here. Now, as opposed to a cape, he wears a coat. So if you see something long flowing, that's all it is. One eye normal, one eye with laser vision about to get activated because somebody wasn't thinking and kind of ticked him off. Not really, I'm just kidding. Alright, let me grab everything and group it. Whoops, flip horizontally. Now, of course, he can't show up through his girlfriend. Well, I mean, I won't spoil anything, so let me not say anything more about that, but I'm going to have to erase or at least cover a part of him because he's not supposed to phase through her. So, let me add another layer and cover him over. In fact, what I'm going to do is use a really thick point and do it in white. Now just some layer to flicky and I should be done. There we go. Good. Alright, so now I can erase. Just before I close this scene, I'm gonna just erase some of this. Oops, I'm in the wrong layer. My bad. Now, how cool is that? So we have the power couple here, whoever this random person is, because I started to draw two different people and don't know who she is. I'll figure it out eventually. Yeah, but I love drawing this power couple, by the way. They're my favorite characters in the entire story. I mean, they are the main characters of the story, but I love drawing them because they're just epic, period. And I like their fashion sense, both of them. Anyway, just to top this scene off for now, I will come back to this in another chill stream, another chill session. I don't know if the next one or if a future one, we'll see what I'm in the mood for. But just to top all of this off, what I will do is add the name of this story right inside here. Oops, I forgot to select the right layer. Alright, let me just use my mouse because the tablet does not want to cooperate. Oops. What should we call this now again? Well, not what should we call, what font am I using again? I can't remember it exactly. I think it is Board 9. Well, it was something close to this, but I don't think it's this one. Oh, I remember now. It is yeah, this one right here. Betechna is the official, technically official. I still have to check and see if it is usable commercially, but this is the font that I've chosen for the series. Let's just make this a little bit of a novelty by having it come from one side and not the other. You know what? I'm gonna move her for the time being. As cool as she looks. Wrong layer. Yeah, there she is, right. I'm gonna remove her for the time being and just leave it like this. And next time I work on this, I'll add in some more characters over here for the good side, and then some who are not so good over this side. Or maybe I might just leave all the characters on this side and put some text on this side. Either way, it looks cool, and I like this. Pretty fun session of just drawing some stuff and imagining some stuff. Most of you have no clue what this stuff is about, but not to worry, as I said, you will find out. So just keep your eyes open and follow me on all my channels. You'll soon know what I'm talking about and soon be able to be as excited as I am when I finally get around to releasing these stories. So yeah, until next time, just a quick reminder, you can check out my dev article on CSS Fun Stuff Combo Breaker. I have another one on the way. I will not tell you what that is just yet, but you can look out for the preview of that to drop on YouTube very soon. I will let you know what that next edition of CSS Fun Stuff will be, but it will be pretty fun stuff. Yeah, so yeah, until next time, you know who I am. I am Roland Taylor, aka Roland Dixor. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and pretty much anywhere that social media are sold. And you can follow me on my streaming page as well. You can find all of my links there to my various stores, and also find out how to donate if you would like to support me. At some point I may get back into doing a few, not planning to make this a regular thing, but some streams where I cover more, you know, of a teaching style thing, but that's not going to be a major thing. We're switching back to where we started, basically. So if you want to find my tutorials and stuff, make sure to keep an eye on YouTube, because I have some on the way. And definitely follow me on Dev as well, so you can find my CSS tutorials, and also look out for my web design in general tutorials. I couldn't get the word called there for a second. Yeah, so make sure you go follow me on all my stuff, and I will see you all soon again.